Imagine for a moment that everything you were taught about success is wrong. That the very instinct you rely on to improve, working harder, doing more, pushing further, is the same instinct destroying your trading results. Because in trading, effort doesn't scale. It decays. This is the paradox that almost every trader learns too late. The more you try, the worse you perform. And it isn't because you lack discipline or intelligence. It's because you're fighting something deeper, something biological, psychological, and completely invisible while you're in the moment. Let me explain. Researchers studied over 66,000 retail investors. The data was brutal. The traders who barely traded outperformed the market. The traders who traded the most underperformed by 7% per year. Not because they were stupid, but because every extra click magnified two things: their costs and their mistakes. The more they acted, the worse they became. And this is where the illusion begins. The illusion that activity equals control. Every trade gives the brain a small hit of confidence, a sense of influence. It feels like progress, it feels productive. But science shows it's the opposite. The act of trading reinforces the belief that you're in control of randomness. You develop overconfidence, you feel more certain, even as your accuracy collapses. This isn't a moral failing, it's cognitive wiring. When the markets are moving, your working memory has maybe 4 to 7 slots available. Every extra chart, every extra time frame, every half-formed idea, they all erode signal quality. You think you're processing more information. Really, you're drowning in it. Then comes vigilance fatigue. 20 to 30 minutes of sustained market monitoring is enough to degrade accuracy. After that, the brain starts demanding shortcuts. That's when decision fatigue appears. A silent assassin. Instead of rational evaluation, the brain slides into 2 modes: impulsive action or total avoidance. Either revenge trades or frozen hesitation. The system collapses under its own weight. One study on credit officers showed that as the day wore on, decisions became dramatically worse. Not because the officers changed, but because their mental energy decayed. The bank lost hundreds of thousands of dollars simply from tired minds defaulting to the easiest option. Trading is no different. High activity accelerates mental exhaustion. Exhaustion accelerates emotional instability. And emotional instability accelerates destructive behavior. It is a deterministic chain reaction. This is why the best traders are not the ones who work the hardest, but the ones who protect their cognitive bandwidth like it's capital. They trade less, not more. They wait longer, not shorter. They choose moments, not time frames. They use structure to bypass their own biology. Pilots have checklists. Surgeons have protocols. High-stakes operators externalize risk because they know the human mind is a poor guardian under stress. Traders are the only ones who still try to wing it. This is where a system, any system, becomes essential. Something that forces discipline when the mind is tired. Something that reflects your behavior back to you when you can't see it. Something that helps you act according to your plan, not your impulses. Some traders build their own. Others rely on journals, alerts, morning routines, environmental control. Some use psychological tools that track patterns and intervene before emotion takes over. That's the philosophy behind what we're building with Kaizen. Not to trade for you, not to predict markets, but to help you stay aligned with the version of yourself that trades best. For example, a trader who tends to spiral after 2 losses doesn't need motivation. They need awareness before the spiral starts. A gentle nudge reminding them, you're not in the right state to trade. Pause, recenter, protect the account. Because when you understand how resilience works, you realize something profound. The real battle in trading is never the market. It's the moment before you click. Your emotions, your fatigue, your biases. Those are the hidden variables that shape your entire equity curve. A tag you assign to a trade, chased entry, hesitated exit, fear after loss, perfect execution, that's more valuable than any indicator because it reveals the true source of variance, your behavior. And when you analyze performance not just by chart patterns but by emotional patterns, you start seeing a different kind of truth. Your strategy isn't the problem, your state is. Improvement in trading is rarely about finding a better entry. It's about improving the mind that decides when to use it. That's why the most successful traders build systems that keep them grounded. Systems that limit the number of decisions they make when tired. Systems that reduce cognitive load. Systems that create intentional breaks. Systems that force clarity before action. Because biology does not care about your goals. Cognitive limits do not negotiate. Psychology does not pause just because opportunity appears. The trader who understands this stops trying to fight the market with effort. They fight their own decline with structure. They work less but think better. They trade less but earn more. They take fewer actions but make higher quality decisions. Their performance doesn't come from intensity. It comes from conservation. It comes from waiting for the moment when their mind is sharp. Their emotions are stable. And their decision quality is at its peak. That is the paradox: less activity, more consistency. Less effort, more clarity. Less action, more mastery. Trading becomes less about predicting candles and more about managing the internal forces that shape each decision. And when you master those forces, when you understand your patterns, regulate your emotions, and build a structure that supports discipline, your trading finally becomes what it should have been. All along, a psychological game you know how to win.